Why bother going to Turkey when it costs even more than Greece or Spain? We used to live there and spent a year in Antalya, traveled both north and south coast, and Turkey feels a bit like a second home to us. But even us, with all our love for this country, started wondering, has it really changed that much? Are tourists overcharged now? Is it empty? And what kind of service can you actually expect these days? Recently we went on a 2-week holiday in Turkey, visiting both Oludeniz, a long-time favorite among travelers from UK, and a few smaller towns where local Turkish people usually go for their summer break. We were curious to see how things feel now and what's really changed, but was it still worth it, or did we end up regretting it? My name is Olga, and me and my husband Renee are based in Sofia, Bulgaria now. So for us, we could just book a relatively inexpensive and short flight from Sofia to Istanbul. And we are flying the budget airline. Here you can see the prices for a simple sandwich can start at 11 euros already. But I don't expect much from a budget airline. So we just glanced through it and didn't really buy anything. At the airport, the first matter of business is of course to buy a SIM card. And how it always was in Turkey, that at the airport they are selling mostly tourist plans. So if you're buying a SIM card in the city, you are most likely to get a better deal. But I personally think it can be a bit of a hassle to look for it in the city, so you might just be better off buying one of these plans. We had a short layover and needed a snack. Food at the airports is always expensive, that's no surprise, but the best deal that you can find is usually at the domestic airport before you check in for the flight. And we were kind of expecting the prices to be very high, but to our surprise, they were quite manageable, especially if we compare it with Bulgaria, where we live now. For about 350 Turkish lira, you can already get a pide, a Turkish pizza. If you don't want fast food and want to have a regular meal, there is a popular Turkish restaurant, it's a chain, Mado, and something like pasta there you can have for 400 Turkish lira. We just wanted to snack a little, and I bought a set of durum and potatoes, which also comes with a drink, and I chose ayran. And the total price was 400 Turkish lira. A burger at McDonald's starts at 225 Turkish lira, and a cup of coffee starts at 80. A bottle of Heineken would cost you 350 Turkish lira. Now we are on our second flight from Istanbul to Dalaman. From Dalaman we need to go to Oludeniz, and first we get on a public bus. I always prefer these buses to get from the airport to city in Turkey. They are big and comfortable with a special section for your luggage. And for the two of us, we paid 380 Turkish lira for about an hour and a half drive. We arrived to a bus station in Fethiye, and from there we are taking a taxi. The taxi ride is of course already quite pricier. For only a 15-minute drive, we pay 600 Turkish lira. But what's good is that the taxi goes by the taxi meter, so you are sure you will not be scammed. And we took a taxi several times during our holiday on the same route, and the price was the same. In Oludeniz, we chose a 4-star hotel, and I must say it didn't disappoint. The most important thing, the bed was really comfortable and wide. All amenities and small details like tea, coffee, some shampoos, everything was there. Even the bathrobes and the slippers. We had breakfast included as well, and overall really liked it. The hotel was more of a boutique hotel, and it had a small pool right next to the mountains. In October it was getting a bit chillier, but there were quite some sunny days as well, so many people just were chilling by the pool. Our first day, the weather was very sunny and warm, and we spent it just walking around and getting in some sunshine. We decided to find some smaller local place for lunch, but for a local, simple place, I would say the prices were quite high, but we did expect that for Oludeniz. Because it is so popular with tourists, we thought that we will not find a place here where the prices will be much lower. The place was advertised as a home-cooked food, and you could really see that they are having a small kitchen where the whole family is cooking and serving the meals. We ordered our all-time favorite, a porción. It's chicken with some rice and vegetables, and also some extra salad on the side. And you can see some of the prices are even on the window, so there is no such thing as a separate price for locals versus foreigners. So that was actually one of the things that we kept hearing before the trip, that more and more restaurants are offering one menu for the locals and another one for the foreigners with higher prices. So I can say that for this place it was definitely not the case. Another thing that we kept hearing, that the beaches are empty, that there's no tourists. And from what we saw in Oludeniz in October, it was definitely not the case. There were quite some tourists, and Oludeniz is also famous for paragliding, and every day when the sky was clear, we saw many paragliders in the sky. The beaches were also quite busy, and on a good day, many people were swimming. So popular locations in Turkey, I would definitely say that they are not becoming empty, and there are many tourists still. Here we walked past some of the restaurants along the beach to show you what kind of prices that they offer. Here you can get ice cream, and for one scoop you already are paying 100 Turkish lira. And I would say that that price was very high for what it is. That was not some sort of special ice cream, it was just right next to the beach in Oludeniz. And later during our trip in other cities we saw that for much less. But we actually went for a cup of coffee, and it was also relatively pricey, but again you pay more for the location than for the coffee itself. And we definitely didn't want to search far and wide where we can get it cheaper on our holiday. We just wanted to relax. So we just accepted that, yes, this is the price that you pay. But if I compare it, for example, to what we pay for coffee in Sofia, where we live, in Bulgaria, we do pay similar. Next on the agenda is to get some relaxation, and we visited one of the spas that is also located in one of the hotels very close to the beach. And we actually found that in this hotel prices are better than in our hotel that is much further from the beach. It was possible to schedule a massage for next day, so that's what we did. Then we decided to go back to our hotel to relax a little, and on the way we saw some restaurants, even a sushi restaurant, although in this particular restaurant we never saw any people. Next on the agenda is a Turkish barber. And here in Oludeniz, they had one with quite affordable prices. The place was also offering laundry and ironing, which might be useful for people on a longer holiday. And Renee got a haircut here, and keep watching the video to see the result. And places like this will accept the foreign currency if you pay in cash. The only thing that might be something to consider is that you might get change in Turkish lira. If you want to go from Oludeniz to Fethiye, for example, it's really easy to get a taxi. If you see one of these buttons, you just press it and the taxi comes quite quickly. And like I already mentioned, the trip would cost you around 600 Turkish lira. Next, I decided to walk into one of the grocery shops, just out of curiosity. And to my surprise, in Oludeniz, it was almost empty. There were some items that I will show you, but not that many. But I guess that shop is not very popular so close to the beach, where there are basically only resorts. So there are not that many potential customers who will actually need something to cook. And I must say, my first impression that the prices are definitely higher in Turkish lira, higher than what I remember. But if I compare to prices of groceries to where I live in Sofia, Bulgaria, they are even lower. So if you're cooking at home and your income is in foreign currency, then cooking here in Turkey is very affordable. At dinner, we decided to walk the Promenade, the main shopping and restaurant street in Oludeniz. Once again, you can see that the places are quite busy and there are quite some people. There is an exchange, of course, on that street, but the rate there is not the greatest. I think even at the airport the rate was better. We really wanted to go on a boat trip and were checking out the offers. In the end, we did find one that we really liked, so we decided to give that idea up, but there was another reason for that, which I will tell you soon. For dinner, we decided to go to a restaurant right on the beach. And I must say, in this restaurant, the prices are almost the same as everywhere else in Oludeniz. So they are not crazy high. They are not the lowest. They are not as low as they used to be in Turkey several years ago. But if I compare it to Europe, they are still lower than in many countries. For example, if I compare them to Germany, to the Netherlands, they are lower. And here you're not just right next to the beach. You are in one of the most popular Turkish resorts. Another thing that I kept hearing is that portions started to be much smaller and the quality of food is much worse. Well, if I judge by this restaurant in Oludeniz, right next to the beach, the portions are still very big and the quality is still really good. Our total with one glass of wine and the water was less than 30 euro. On the way back to the hotel, we spotted a property agency. And yeah, compared to what it used to be, the prices did go higher, almost double. But compared to Europe, prices are still lower. Even if we compare to Greece or Spain, here it's much more affordable still. Of course, not every property in Turkey these days will qualify you for a residency permit, but that's a different story. Here I walked into another supermarket. It was bigger and I made some videos of how much you would pay for alcohol these days. And again, we are walking the main shopping and bar street. You see still plenty of tourists. And this is already shoulder season, middle of October there. So you can imagine during the high summer, there are many more people. You can see some really funny shops like a genuine fake factory, for example. Next morning, I made a video of what's offered at the breakfast. It was a very similar offer every day, of course. There were some variations, but more or less this is what was there every morning. For lunch, we are going to a beach restaurant and we ended up going to this restaurant multiple times. It's a quick snack, so I got a sandwich with some potatoes and Renee got a Turkish pizza, pide. Of course, you have to keep in mind that you will have to pay tax to the locals. And we had another cup of coffee from the same place. Our total bill for the food was 820 Turkish lira, which I consider quite good for a lunch at a beautiful beach. And here's what Beach Promenade looks like during the day. On the right you can see the paragliders, because this is where they are landing. And on this day we could not resist that 100 Turkish lira for a scoop ice cream. It was really good. We decided to go further along the beach and have a swim. The entrance to this area was about 100 Turkish lira per person, and we also needed to rent this boat. And I must say it's really worth it. It's a very scenic place. And after a couple of hours there, we went back to our beach in Oludeniz. And here the entrance is of course free. We needed a quick snack and went for a doner. One doner costed there 300 Turkish lira, and it's another restaurant right next to the beach. They also had all kinds of dishes, which are of course more pricey than a doner. And it was good, I must say. As always, there is a lot of meat in it, so the portions and the taste did not get worse. And Renee got a room and I got a doner in a pita. And here you can see what already happened that evening. Unfortunately, the rain started and it lasted for several days. And it looks like that drainage in Oludeniz can be really improved, because I can imagine this happens every year. So for us, walking from our hotel to the beach was really difficult during those days. I have a video on my channel showing you that experience. Check it out. For dinner, we went to the same restaurant as we went for lunch, as we really enjoyed the food there. They give you this bread with butter for a starter, and it's free. They do not charge extra for it. Renee ordered salmon that comes with a side of potato and salad. And I ordered chicken in sauce that comes with potato and rice. And once again, the portions and the food quality and the taste, everything was just as good as we remember Turkey to be. So the next days were quite rainy, so all we did basically is enjoy the coffee shops and the restaurants. This is one on the beach, and for lunch we had a salad and the chicken with potatoes and rice. This time we decided to order just one meal and a salad, all to share for us too, because we did see that the portions are still big in Turkey, and for lunch we usually don't want that much food, so that was more than enough for us too. And we finished with coffees. So our total bill with coffees is 1,340 Turkish lira. And then we spent some time doing one of our favorite things, is just watching the sea. On this day you can see that people were not swimming, it was quite windy, it was chillier and not as much sunshine as previously. So that was the main reason that people were not swimming. So I decided to use a day like that to go and see what are the prices for clothes now. And I would say, if I compare it how they were before, they are much less affordable. But in this shop, for example, it's called Koton. It's mostly targeted for younger people, and the quality, I must say, was always not the best. If I compare it to other European brands, I would compare it to H&M, but even worse quality. So for the quality that they have there in the shop, I would say the prices are relatively high. And this mall is not in Oludeniz, it is in Fethiye, so you would need to take either a taxi or a dolmuş. It's a local minibus that will take you there. And dolmuş, of course, is much more affordable than a taxi. There is one middle-sized mall in Fethiye, but it has popular Turkish brands like Koton, DeFacto, LC Waikiki. Don't expect very high quality in those shops. I would compare it to H&M and Zara in Europe. But the one thing that I saw is still priced according to the quality are the jeans. These are no Levi's, keep in mind, but for what they are priced good. This is some more footage of us trying to walk around and escape the puddles and having our last dinner in Oludeniz. And this was actually the whole reason why we came to Oludeniz and not to a less popular Turkish city first. We wanted to meet with the family and spend some time with them. So we had a really good dinner for 4 people. The portions were big, the food was tasty, and the service was really good. And in total for 4 people it costed us 3,700 Turkish lira, which I consider to be a very good price for the location and the quality. After this, the weather improved, it was sunny again, and we went to see some smaller Turkish towns, Datca and Dalyan. We rented a car because getting there by public transport would be quite time-consuming, and it's just very convenient to have a car when you're traveling to several locations. So in the next video I will share what did it cost us such a trip, what's the prices for hotels and food and entertainment in those smaller towns, and how does it compare to the all-time favorite Oludeniz. Subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss that video.